Hello Millwall fans, Paul Eiffel here. It's time for Chat with Chaps.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of Chat with Chaps. Tonight, guys, we are going to be looking ahead to the 25-26 season and looking at the Championship and whether our task ultimately as Millwall is going to be easier or harder. So tonight we're joined by two usual panellists. We've got Angelo and Stephen. How are we, fellas?
Hey, how you doing, Ben? Nice to see you, mate. Yeah, it'll be good to chat about the up-and-coming league because I think we're missing it already, aren't we, mate? Can't wait for it all to start again. So
absolutely,
and obviously now we know every single team that's in the division. So yeah, obviously a lot of things can change, but we're just gonna have a little brief chat about what's there at the moment. But yeah, it should be good.
Absolutely, Stephen. How are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm really good. I'm just surprised that we've got a severely bronzed leader tonight. You look like you've been on a sunbed or two, mate. I think
I haven't, mate. Just you know, the answer's going to be just lots of golf, mate. Lots of golf, and it has
absolutely.
Rarely the sun's been out in Manchester, so yeah, it's been quite nice, mate. So no sunbeds, just the golf course.
No, it's good. Sorry, just before we get to Angelo said, I think we're all missing Millwall. We're all of us, and there's people looking for those snippets. So we're keeping our toe firmly in the water with bringing a show about the league next year.
Absolutely. And Angelo, you kind of touched upon it there. Look, we can't go into sort of each individual side too deeply at the minute. There's going to be a lot of ins, a lot of outs at all the different clubs. So what we wanted to do tonight was just go through and look at the sides that obviously come down from the Premier League. How do they fare or compare to the sides that obviously have gone up this season, the sides that have come up from League One, the sides that we've lost down into League One, and then maybe we'll go through some of the sides that have underachieved last year or we think that may push on the likes of us. We're obviously going to win the league next year. So, just look at some sides that may be knocking on the door. So, fellas, Stephen, I'll come to you first. So the Premier League sides, mate. So obviously we've lost Leeds, we've lost Sunderland, and we've lost Burnley. How do you think they're going to compare the sides that are coming down now? So Southampton, Ipswich, and who else has come down?
Leicester.
And Leicester, thanks, mate. How do you think, just on the face of it, the three sides can compare to last year's?
I feel like this is going to probably really bite me when this goes out and then the league completely changes. But I feel like the three teams coming down, they're not as strong as the three teams that come down last season. Obviously, I know Leeds were already in the division and you know that obviously they did it this year. I think Leicester probably are the ones that are gonna be the real dangers. I think they're gonna be sort of firing on all cylinders. I can't see them faltering. Southampton are an unknown quantity for me. I feel like they might have a little bit off the field with change of managers and expectations. So I'm not sure on those. And again, famous last words, Ipswich. Can they replicate what they did before? I know parachute payments might come into it, but I'm not convinced that they'll be able to do it again. Don't think they'll do what Luton did by any stretch of the imagination. But I said it when it was confirmed, when it was those three. I think the league is weaker from the perspective of who's come down. Maybe not necessarily who's come up, but from who's come down.
Angelo, your thoughts, mate? Do you think the three teams we've lost are stronger than the three that are coming down?
Well, obviously Leeds and Burnley, they were exceptional, really, wasn't they? Sunderland, did they fluke it? I don't know, because they're obviously going to that one there is going to be the tough one for the Premiership next season because their team's so young and inexperienced. So I'd imagine it all depends what they do in the transfer window. But I feel that Burnley are going to do the best out of the three that went up, just purely because of how strong they are defensively. What they've done last season defensively is just ridiculous. I know it's the Championship and it's a different level in the Premier League, but it is a great defence, mate. So that will stand them in good stead, won't it? And in the Premier League. Regards to the three that have joined us, obviously, Southampton have just announced a brand new manager, a guy that's highly rated. This Will Still, isn't it?
Yeah.
Highly rated. Supposed to be an unbelievable coach. So I don't know what who knows what can happen down at Southampton, because obviously it's there's a new head guy there. Leicester, I'm hearing rumours that Van Nistelrooy will be gone, and our boring friend Russell Martin is going to be taking over there, playing that absolutely dross football that he likes. So that's the rumour that he's going to be taking over at Leicester. And I am a huge fan of Kieran McKenna. I think that he will go places in his career. Yes, he found it tough last season, but I'm a little bit opposite to Stephen. I'm a bit worried about Ipswich purely because I rate Kieran McKenna so highly, mate. So if I had to say which one's going to struggle the most, I'm probably going to go for Leicester. I think Leicester will probably struggle. But yeah, I'm not scared of them three teams that have come down, though. Not like not as much as last season,
I was literally about to back that back and ask that question. So, just on a whole, when you saw the three that came down last year, were you more concerned, or did you think those three were definitely going to be at the top of the league compared to this year? Do you feel like they could be a bit more? There's not going to be maybe them three running away with it like what we saw this season. Do you think they could? You could see like the likes of Leicester slightly lower down the league. Stephen, you mentioned maybe Ipswich not bouncing back. So, do we think, guys, just based on that, it's not going to be as strong from that point of view?
Well, I mean, I think you can't forget the fact that Luton, I don't know how many people would have expected Luton to be in the top 6 or challenging for the top 2. They certainly would have put them in the bottom 3. I don't think any of the 3 teams coming down are going to struggle that badly. I think, as I said, when it was announced, when it was fully confirmed that those 3 teams were coming down, I don't think we've got anything to fear. We don't have anything to fear in anyone in this division. That's our mantra. That's how we are. And just to answer your question, I think they're not. I just don't see them as strong as what they were. Again, we could look really, really silly when back end of obviously next season then and they're 1, 2, and 3. But I just don't see it going that way. So yeah, I think you could see one of them. Obviously, Angelo's going Leicester. I'm going Ipswich. Ben, what are you thinking with those 3?
Yeah, Will Steele's an interesting one, right? Like Angelo said, he's very highly touted from a coaching perspective. I saw him on Monday Night Football a few weeks ago, and I thought he was talking in absolute riddles. I didn't understand what he was talking about. He's a typical new manager that's talking about inverted wingers and inverted fullbacks and halfbacks playing on a pivot, and he just confused me. And I just thought, if Roy Keane was listening to this, lucky he wasn't on with him, he'd have told him to shut up. But yeah, listen, he's obviously very highly touted, isn't he? He's been linked with a few Premier League jobs. Saints always seem to come and do well in the Championship. They're going to have another young side, aren't they? Very inexperienced in terms of Premier League, but they're going to have a very strong Championship side. Leicester's an interesting one. If Russell Martin goes there, they're not going to enjoy that, I don't think, at Leicester in terms of his play style. But they've obviously been, again, looks like they're going to get FFP or they're going to be in breach of financial fair play. So they might be getting a points deduction. How much or what that looks like, obviously, we don't know. And then...
Ben, I've heard it could be a huge points reduction. Like, you're talking like 15... I've heard 15 points, mate.
Yeah, which again, obviously we saw what Sheffield United last year. Well, they only had 4, didn't they? 2. So yeah. I mean, they ultimately made a bit of a mockery of that, didn't they? But I know it's 1 win. But if it's 15, that's a fair chunk, right, to be trying to make back. I don't think they're that strong to be able to claw that back and see them making automatic promotion, maybe make the playoffs. But yeah, I think Ipswich are a funny one for me, and it's just whether McKenna stays, guys. That's my opinion. I think if he does, they'll be knocking on the door. I could see a bit of a merry-go-round in the Premier League, like we always do. I'd imagine I could see him at a Bournemouth, a Wolves, a Fulham, if any of them struggled, sort of beginning the next season. But I see him at that sort of level. Again, he's very highly touted, isn't he? So I think it's just going to be whether they can keep him for the full season. Out the 3, I'm going to go with Saints being the strongest. So that's the Premier League side.
We've all gone for different ones, haven't we?
There you go. I didn't expect that.
That is why what makes it so interesting in the Championship this year, because there'll be other Championship fans like us in a group podcast, in a pub, whatever, that will go, I fancy Leicester, I fancy Southampton, I fancy Ipswich or Sheffield United. That's what makes next season a really interesting season in this division, because it's not
let's look back as well then, Stephen, and say it's easy to do it now in retrospect, right? But I'm assuming we all may have picked Leeds last year to be the league winners.
I went for Coventry. I went Coventry. Yeah.
Right, ignore you then, Angelo.
I actually thought Sheffield United.
Okay.
I thought Sheffield United, even with, because it was only 2 points. In the end, they did mess it up big time at the back end of the season. Their form was, we beat them, and then it all seemed to unravel for them, really. But I thought they were going to be too strong, but you just don't know, do you? It's who would have said realistically with the parachute payments and some of the clubs that Sunderland were going to win the playoffs. No disrespect to them, but people just don't. I don't think that would have been the side that people would have thought.
No, totally agree. So look, we're all mixed on the Premier League side, which makes it, as ever, an exciting look to the top of the top of the league. Looking now at the teams that have joined us from League One and the teams that we've lost. We obviously lost Luton, Plymouth, and Cardiff. We're going to be joined by Birmingham, Wrexham, and them lot down the road. Weaker or stronger? I went to you first last time, Stephen. So Angelo, 3 that have come up versus the 3 that have come down. I think it's probably unanimous, I would say. But go on, do you think stronger or weaker?
Yeah, massively stronger, mate. Massively stronger, and obviously 2 of them are coming with barrel loads of cash, aren't they? Yeah, there's no 2 ways about it. I think Birmingham are going to be the strongest out of the 3. Obviously, followed by Wrexham. We was having a little brief chat in our WhatsApp group today regarding the train spotters, and I think they're comfortably going to survive purely because of their manager. But their team at the moment is not that great. I was not impressed with them in that final at all. But that guy just gets he squeezes everything out of each player, doesn't he? He gets them working. So I think Charlton will. I don't think they'll go down, and I think they'll be comfortably mid-table. I think. So yeah, definitely stronger.
I'm going to mute you in a minute, Angelo, if you keep giving them praise.
Say again?
Going to mute you in a minute if you keep giving them praise. Listen, I'm pleased they're back. Obviously, 1, it's a short travel for our fans, and 2, it's 6 points for us, isn't it? So very true, mate.
Yeah. So, but yeah, definitely, the 3 come up are a lot stronger than what went down. That's for sure.
So just on that, you mentioned the financial firepower of Birmingham and obviously Wrexham. If they didn't have their money, I know if my auntie had and all that sort of thing, but if they didn't, and it was just sort of Birmingham obviously come down, gone back up at the first attempt, would you have still had the same answer, or is it purely just on their financial backing they're going to have next year? So,
yeah, without their financial backing, Wrexham wouldn't have come up anyway, mate, would they?
No, but I just mean in the sense of, so we've lost some big sides there, right? Obviously, we didn't expect Luton, like we said, to probably get relegated again. Cardiff, huge side, huge club, and obviously a pretty established Championship side. So. Yeah. I'm looking at Wrexham's teams, or maybe a little bit of element of that in that question. Do we think they're that strong, or do we think they're just a very good League One team?
Well, I think what Wrexham are doing the opposite of what we're doing, aren't they? They go for experience, mate, like older, like almost coming to the end of their career players, and it's worked out for them. Whether they can do that in the Championship, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they can bring the older player. Do you know what I mean? Because
and again, just on that. We've already heard the rumours, right? That Vardy might be going there. Tom Kearney might be going there for big money in terms of wages. So, yeah, if they're going to follow that suit, it'd be interesting to see how they fare in that respect. If they keep going with that experience signing, bro. Sorry, mate. Carry on.
Yeah. But, yeah, they're definitely going to bring a bit of colour to the Championship, isn't they? It's going to be really, really interesting. And the 2 American owners are going to battle against each other. To see who's going to finish above each other. But yeah, I think Wrexham will be comfortable. But yeah, it all depends how much money they're going to go and throw at it. And Birmingham, I've heard little rumours that they reckon they can do in Ipswich and they can go up again. Again, it's going to be who they buy and stuff like that. But and their manager looks a good young manager. He's done a good job in his first job. So yeah, definitely making our league stronger though. By the way, Ben.
Yeah. Stephen.
Yeah, it is stronger, isn't it? Birmingham and Wrexham, as much as the big thing I would say is that a lot of people say, if it was, people are only jealous of the money, everyone would want to be in that position. Of course, everyone would love to be able to be signing kind of whoever you want at this level, but that only gets like the Wrexham story. You can't just keep throwing money at it, because you are going to be facing teams. The money that Leicester have got is huge. The money that Southampton's got is huge. Can they keep producing this kind of miracle run? I don't know. Birmingham, perhaps in the same boat. They've got some obviously championship quality players already. They'll add to that. Charlton, look, I don't think they're the best side that in League One. They had some good form. I believe they had a lot of clean sheets, so they were defensively very, very good. Are they going to be able to carry that on into the Championship? I don't know. I don't really know enough about them, but I feel like the thing with Birmingham and Wrexham is expectation. Birmingham may be talking about wanting to do an Ipswich and doing the consecutive promotions and Wrexham, but clubs are going to be looking at them, and the pundits are going to be looking at them going, well, you should be competing because you have got the money. That's where it's slightly different, because you're up against, you got your West Broms, your Norwiches, your Middlesbrough, your Coventry, dare I say us, established championship clubs that have got ambitions of getting in the top six. It's not easy. They are stronger, but I don't think it's going to be as easy for them as they may think, or their supporters may think.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think if you look at, obviously well publicised how much they spent last year on the likes of Jay Stansfield, right? Are they going to be able to do it again? We don't know. We're assuming that they will be able to. As I said, we've already heard the likes of Vardy and Tom Kearney being linked with Wrexham, so we're assuming they're going to be throwing some money around, certainly from a wages perspective. I think you're going to see Birmingham find it much easier than Wrexham, just because of Birmingham as a club. They know what it takes to be in the Championship, right? They're a pretty established Championship side, give or take. Wrexham, it's going to be completely new to them. You look at the likes of your Paul Mullins, right? He's never done it in the Championship, so he's been tearing up the lower leagues. Can he come and do it in the Championship? Obviously, he was injured last year. I know that, but you got those players that they're going to have. I feel like they may have picked, like what Angelo said, sort of your experienced players to get them out of each league every season, and I just don't know if they're going to be able to do that again in the Championship. Whether they're going to struggle or not, I don't know, but I'd expect them to, I think, struggle out of the three. I agree with you, Angelo. I think with them lot, Charlton, I think Nathan Jones will just get a tune out of them. They'll sign some players. When he go back to the likes of Luton and try and sign people, I would imagine, again, he will just have a Championship know-how. My not worry, but my thoughts on Wrexham, again, was just that, do they have enough Championship experience? And at the minute, I would say no. But on a whole, is it stronger or weaker with the three teams that we've lost compared to those three? I know I asked a silly question of, is it just because of their financial power, but you've got to say yes, right?
Yeah, the thing is, it's not even necessarily just the financial side of it. I think it's the whole circus that's going to, well, they call it the circus, don't they, with Wrexham? The publicity is going to be higher. Obvious statement. When there's a League One game on the telly, okay, people might watch it, but Wrexham were, one of two really that people were really interested in seeing how they were getting on in League One because of the money that they've got and Ryan Reynolds. In the Championship, there'll still be that publicity, but you're going to have, people are going to be fancying other sides. They're going to be fancying, Leicester's and Southampton's. It's different pressure that's coming along. So I don't think Wrexham will struggle. I don't think they'll struggle. I think they'll be mid-table, but no more than that.
Yeah. So go on then. Out of the three, I'm going to go with Birmingham being top out of those three, Charlton and Wrexham. Would you disagree with that, or do you think Wrexham will finish above Charlton?
I think Wrexham will finish above Charlton. I think Charlton, Nathan Jones might get the best out of the players that he's got, but Charlton's squad are nowhere near ready for Championship football. They'll sign players, and they've got some good players. Of course, they have. They've been promoted, but I just can't see. I don't think Charlton will go down, but I think Wrexham will finish above them.
Angelo?
Yes, I 100% agree with Stephen there. Yeah, yeah, it's Birmingham, Wrexham, and Charlton for me in that order. Yeah.
All right, good stuff. So that's the Premier League sides, League One sides. If we have a look at the sides that obviously stayed in the league, then fellas, probably should mention the likes of Sheffield United, Coventry that missed out from a playoff perspective. Obviously, then we've got ourselves, West Brom, Borough, Bristol City obviously had a good season, Blackburn, that sort of teams the sides that were knocking on the door last year, chucked into the sides that we've mentioned that are going to be in the league again. Do you expect the same teams to be fighting it out for a playoff push next year, or anyone you think might add to that next year who underachieved last year? Stephen, go to you this time.
Yeah, I feel like, and I don't. This is dangerous because we're talking about our kind of level now. You know, where we are and where we've been as a club. I feel like there's only so many seasons teams can say we've nearly done it before they get swallowed up a little bit. It almost happened to Preston last year. They almost got sucked into being comfortable, reliable mid-table championship, and then all of a sudden in a relegation battle. So there's a lot of teams that are probably thinking, how long have we realistically got at this level before we get swallowed up? I certainly think you look at someone like a Norwich, who have got some great players, but they're not getting parachute payments anymore. They are going to have to sell.
Is this the first season they don't have them, Stephen?
I believe so. I think this year is the first one. They certainly don't have them this year. They've got, people are looking at Sainz, looking at Sargent, looking at I think Kellen Fisher, who was at Bromley, players like that could leave, and other clubs are going to fall into that category. I think you'll see clubs like us, Blackburn, certainly Watford, really try this year because you always run the risk of getting caught. Do I think it'll be the same teams competing for 5th and 6th? Yes, probably. You might get, as you say, your Birminghams that are going for it as well. But I think very much of a much. Coventry, I feel like they might be the team. And again, if any Coventry fans are listening to this, you're more than welcome to give me pelters at the back end of the season if it goes really, really well for you. They've missed out in playoffs previously. They missed out in the FA Cup semi-final. They missed out again on the playoffs. Can they keep replicating that kind of form? I think they might be a team that may not have the season that they're expecting this year. Yeah, that'd be the one for me.
And I'm going to chuck another team in there, Angelo. I think Middlesbrough potentially sort of on that cycle as well. Keep knocking on the door, keep missing out. There was rumblings the back end of the season just about Michael Carrick. Will he feel now he can't? He's tried to get him into the playoffs. Can he do it this year? Are they going to have the money again? I know they're always well backed, but they're probably a side that I would look at. What about you, mate? Is there anyone in there that you feel might drop out? Anyone you feel could close that gap next year?
Yeah, definitely with Borough, mate. If we touch on Borough first, I think if they do keep Carrick, this is his last chance, isn't it? If he don't do it this season, they won't. They can't persist with him because it's just got to a stage where how much longer do we give the guy? But yeah, I definitely think that I don't really see them as a threat. Middlesbrough, I just think they're going to do what they've done this season, mate. They just flirt with it a little bit, then drop down, flirt with it a little bit. I have to agree with Stephen. I think Coventry are going to be strong, mate. I really do. They've got so many good individual players at their club, mate. That we know they've got a very good coach, in Joe Edwards. And they look so strong at home. It's such a good atmosphere at the CBS Arena. I think that they get so many late goals there with their fans and all that. So I think they're gonna be strong. Sheffield United, I think they're going to lose Gus Hamer, and there's rumours they may lose the goalkeeper. If they lose them two, mate, it ain't going to be plain sailing, because I don't know if you know this, already they are the bookies' favourites to go up, Sheffield United, above the three Premiership teams that come down. So, but I just feel that if Sheffield United lose them two players, it's not going to be plain sailing for little crybaby Chris Wilder, mate.
Yeah, I see. I if they keep those players like you mentioned, I mean, Hamer's the one for me. If they manage to keep him, they're going to be really strong. If they don't, they're still going to be strong, right? And they're only they're year 2 with their parachute payments. They're still going to have money. They're going to want to get back up there. They're going to be. I think they'll be strong. I don't know if I see them. Well, actually, yeah, maybe I do. I was about to say, then, do I see them finishing above the likes of Leicester and Ipswich? I think Saints will win the league, like I said. But yeah, actually, I'm going to completely change what I was going to say. I do think Sheffield United are going to be up there.
Yeah, it's just going to be interesting to see what they're going to do if they do lose them two players. Do you want me to put a dark horse in there now, or do you want to? Shall I do it later?
Absolutely.
I've got a dark horse. I've got a dark. My dark horse is Swansea.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, they're my dark horse, because since that new manager took over, they started playing some bloody good football, and they started getting some unbelievable results. And I was very impressed with them when they come to our place as well. I know we won 1-0, but that was a lucky 1-0 win, wasn't it, really? So they are my dark horses. I suppose we should speak about Bristol City as well, mate, because they did make the playoffs. There is rumours that their manager is going to Norwich. Yeah. So that is a big thing for them. Again, I was very impressed with Bristol City when they beat us 2-0 at our place. My son said they were the best team that he saw last season come to the Den, you know. So yeah, Bristol City, big question marks regarding their manager, because obviously he's a good manager, but it looks like he is possibly going to Norwich. So
that would be an interesting one, especially if we just go back to what you said, Stephen, in terms of them potentially losing players, right? Is that a bit of a backwards step? Could you argue, just in terms of where the clubs are at now?
I think so. I think people look at Norwich and they look at the fact that they do have a very loyal fan base. They sell a lot of season tickets. They get, they've got some good players. They've always been able to churn out your transfer fees and stuff. I worry for Bristol City, actually. If they lose their manager and they lose some of their players, you kind of think, have they, again, like what I said earlier, have they missed a boat? Are they, last season, they'll be bitterly disappointed to be, I think it was 6-0, wasn't it, on aggregate in the playoffs. I mean, if you think of it from our point of view, if we made the top 6 on the last day and then got beat 6-0 over 2 legs by Sheffield United, we would have been absolutely devastated by that. That's difficult to come back from. The manager might jump ship. So, yeah, I think it would be a backward step. I don't think Norwich. I think Norwich are really, really in a position now where they've had debts in the past. They've got money that they've had to pay back. They're not in any trouble, but it's not just a case of sell players, reinvest. Money has to go elsewhere. I am, however, one other team that I did really want to talk about, my other dark horse for the top 6, for a push at the top 6. And this might surprise the both of you, not surprise the listeners, Portsmouth. Because I tell you now, right, Portsmouth's home form is outstanding. Their away form was so bad last year, so bad. Much like what we'd been in previous years, away from home, we couldn't quite get it to click. But if they get it to click away and pick up a few more results, they could sneak into that top 6, because at home, they're really, really difficult to beat.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that leads me nicely into my next question. I was going to say, in terms of the 3 sides we saw promoted last season, how do we think they're all going to fare this season? You've touched upon Pompey there, Stephen. Oxford, we all know about Gary Rowett, and Derby, obviously, probably call it a great escape with John Eustace, and obviously they're going to be strong with him having a full season there. What do we think? Do we think they're going to be comfortably safe? Do we see any of those sides dropping down, or, like you said, getting a sniff of the playoffs?
I say Portsmouth. But if Portsmouth sort out their away form, I think there'll be a dark horse. when you said there, like Derby, Gary Rowett in at Oxford, as we keep saying, the league next year is so unpredictable. How do you pick? You know, who's going to finish where? I mean, I'm pleased we're not doing necessarily a prediction video, because I think it's going to be really, really hard to call next year. But I think Oxford again, Rowett will find a way of keeping him safe. That's his mantra. That's what he does. Derby, again, probably Eustace a bit of a revival. He's probably got a point to prove why he left Blackburn to go there. And as I say, I'm quite clear with Portsmouth. I think they might have a good season.
Angelo, do you agree with Stephen? Do you think Pompey could be strong? And then general thoughts on the three sides that obviously managed to stay up last year, but got promoted the season before?
Yeah, Stephen did surprise me there. Yeah, I was not expecting that, but yeah, obviously home record fine. Yeah, yeah, I'm just repeating what Stephen said. They were shit away from home, weren't they? But individually, when I look at their players, I just, I just feel they're still a little bit leaguey one-y. Do you know what I mean? The individual players, apart from obviously Josh. Is it Josh Murphy? Josh Murphy, or yeah. Apart from him, I look at all their players and they've got no stars, have they? They're like just like they're still a bit leaguey one to me. So I don't see what Stephen predicts, but we'll see. Oxford, I'm the same. Gary Rowett, you just don't feel like you're going to get relegated with Gary Rowett. You're not going to make the playoffs. You're not going to get relegated. It's going to be that bore fest, which we had to endure for quite a while. And Derby, I look at John Eustace a little bit like Nathan Jones, where he gets the best out of his players, mate. And do you know what really worries me about next season is that if you said to me, who are the three teams going down? I haven't got a fucking clue, mate. I have no clue. I have no clue the three teams that are going to go down.
Well, I was just going to say, we've said that the three teams are coming up. We think they're going to be strong. We don't think they're going to be flirting with relegation. We've said the three teams that came up last year, we don't think they're going to be struggling. Who do we think are going to struggle?
I don't know, mate. I don't know who's going to struggle. Do you know what? You know, everyone says in this championship, everyone can beat everyone, yeah? Even more so next season, mate. Honestly, to call this championship season next season is going to be near on impossible, mate. I genuinely don't know who's like. Are Stoke going to be as bad as they were? It's
you wouldn't have thought so with Mark Robbins again, would
Mark
you?
Mark Robbins' second season, yeah. He's a good manager, yeah. Preston, yes, they had a terrible end to their season, but their manager, Heckenbottom, he's a great manager, mate, yeah. Blackburn, obviously they started a bit iffy, and then all of a sudden they're like the informed team. And sadly, we played them at the wrong time, didn't we? When they done us 4-1, mate. Sheffield Wednesday. If Danny Roll goes, could they be one that could struggle? I don't know.
Well, I would. Yeah, let's just talk about Sheffield Wednesday for a sec. So yeah, exactly for that point, Andrew. If Danny Roll does go, there's obviously so much going on there in the background with their ownership. You look at them, and are they a prime candidate? As I say, if they do lose Danny Roll, do they then go on that bit of a slippery slope?
Because the thing with Sheffield Wednesday, they've got an older squad, haven't they? They've got a lot of old seasoned professionals, and again, I think they need to refresh their squad, go a little bit younger, go a little bit more athletic. But is Danny Roll as good as everyone thinks? Though he's been there 2 years now.
Well, I thought he was nailed on to go to Southampton, Angelo. I thought he was just nailed on, given his links there. I thought it was. I just saw him going there. I just thought that was going to happen. So I'm surprised he's still there. I like him. I think he's a good manager. I'm surprised he's still at Sheffield Wednesday, personally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am. With the record that he had, certainly, because that's what people look at, don't they? They go, he's winning games of football. A team that might struggle, and again, if any supporters are listening to this, feel free to give me pelters if you have a great season. QPR. I'm not convinced on QPR with they always seem like they're going to have good players, and then all of a sudden they don't. It seems to fall apart. They might be one to struggle for me, in my opinion. There's something about them.
Can I just say, talking about QPR, right? I think we need to touch on this. There's 4 clubs, as we're speaking right this second, that haven't got managers. Yeah, obviously QPR being one of them. Yeah, I haven't heard any. Have you heard any whispers of who might be going
No.
in there? I've not heard nothing.
No,
Obviously,
I don't
Norwich-
think. Sorry, on that. I don't think it's a job that people are screaming out for at the moment. I just don't see it. Obviously, they'll get a manager, and there'll be someone that goes in that thinks he can do a good job. But there's something about them that, again, a team that I feel missed the boat a couple of seasons ago when they really pushed for it. That I could be talking about us. Have we missed the boat over the last couple of years? I hope we haven't, and I don't think we have. But I just don't see that as a job that people. Really probably disrespectful, but how many people are going to be looking at it going, yeah, I'm really going to go in there, we're going to challenge for the top 6? I don't think people will have that excitement.
I'd imagine they're going to be looking at another Marty Cifuentes, right? Someone that we've got no idea who he is from Europe. I would imagine that's who they're going to end up getting.
Ben, talking about him, I think he is the favourite to go West Brom, isn't he? I think he.
Oh, is he? Is it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I believe he is one of the favourites to go to West Brom. So if I can just finish, so there's 4 clubs with no manager. So we've got QPR, we just spoke about. We've got West Brom, who I think that the QPR ex-QPR guy is a favourite. We've got Norwich, who we believe the Bristol City manager, and then we got the new basket case club, who are very similar to Watford, is Hull. Yeah, Hull had one of the best managers going, and they got rid of him in Rosenia. So Hull are still looking for a manager, aren't they?
I think so.
Yeah, again, I'm saying that now. I don't think.
I know Watford have obviously just announced another random foreign guy that we've never heard of, who'll be there for like 6 months and then he'll get replaced. So them 4 clubs, could they struggle, mate? Could Hull struggle? Could QPR struggle? Very difficult to say, isn't it? When they haven't announced anyone yet. And Watford, mate,
you just never know what you're going to get with Watford, do you?
Yeah.
I think they're just now a club. They could be knocking on the door of the playoffs. They could get relegated. I genuinely look at them now and you just think, no idea what's going to happen there.
A lot of the pundits last season had Watford to go down, didn't they? A lot of them.
I think I remember listening to Chaps' pre-season or one of the first games with the Watford guys that come on, and they all said that they thought they were going to struggle as well. So, yeah, you never know. So, right, we've done Premier League, League One, we've done the teams that have stayed in the league, we've got the teams that have struggled. Obviously, guys, if you've still got to this point of 37 minutes in and going, why have they spoke about the whole league? We haven't mentioned Millwall yet. The $1 million question here, and the reason why we wanted to put this together was for us to decide and talk about whether the league's going to be ultimately harder or easier for us. Angelo, there's the question. Is it going to be easier for Millwall to get into the playoffs or have a better season than we did last year based on everything we've just spoken about?
I said it a couple of weeks ago in our chat, and I'm going to stick with it, right? I have so much faith in Alex Neil. Yeah, he's been there, he's seen it, he's done it, he's got teams promoted. The stories you're hearing is that everybody loves his training. He's so in depth. There's no stone unturned. So I feel we're going to have a good season. I think we're going to finish 4th. Yeah, that's where we're going to finish next season. But it is a bloody tough league next season, mate. It is a bloody tough league, and like I said, I couldn't. What scares me is I can't think of 3 teams that are going to definitely go down. I just can't do it, mate, and that worries me. So
yeah, no, I don't disagree. So we're definitely going for harder.
Say again.
Harder. League's harder this year.
100%. This is a harder league.
100%.
Yeah, 100%.
Good stuff, Stephen. Is it going to be easier or harder for Millwall next year to improve on our league position and get into the playoffs or win the league? Just want to chuck that
in. The league will be harder naturally because of the money that's in the league. I was asked this question by a mate of mine a couple of days ago, and I said that we won't finish lower than where we finished this season. Just gone. Now, if we finish 7th or 8th, I feel like the fan base, Alex Neil, the club, will see that as a bit of a failure, personally, because I feel like this is the year that they're really going to want to go and get that top 6. We've mentioned it so many times about not missing the boat, you've got to capitalise. This is the season. We've got a good squad. We're probably going to invest a little bit more money into it. Okay, we might lose a couple, but we're really going to have a push for it. I think the league will be harder overall, and it's hard to call who's going to win the league, who's going to get relegated. But I really think we'll have a good season, and I don't think we can finish fourth, Angelo. I'd love us to finish fourth and have a little less stress on the last day and all that. But Tristan Kramer, last day of the season, gets us in the playoffs. Heard it here first.
Against who, mate? What time's he scoring?
No. It's not. We're not doing like late goal or anything. But Tristan Kramer scores the goal that gets us into the playoffs.
Has he got a headband? He's got a headband on, and it's the last minute. He's going to do a Hutchie, Hutchinson.
What the Guinness when they put the tape round because he'd have a head injury earlier on.
When Hutchinson got that goal, did he have a? I'm sure he had.
He had a head injury. He had a cut, didn't he? And he had the tape. He had the black tape around his head. When he scored that goal, Bristol Rovers. Yeah, Bristol Rovers. I'm sure it was. He got a head injury.
I think you're agreeing.
Yeah. So what about you, Ben? Where are we going to finish, mate?
So I'm going to go with the league's definitely harder, but I haven't been this excited looking ahead at a new season for a long time. Like you, Angelo, I've got so much faith in Alex Neil just getting it right. I think now we saw the direction of the club moving in a very positive way. There's a lot of question marks, but I think that's been put to bed. I think we all can agree now it's the best thing for the club. I think we have to mention all the rumours. Listen, that could change. We could change very quickly if the rumours are to be believed, and there's some investment from Saudi coming, shall we say? But look, let's talk about what we've got at the minute. I'm excited going into next year. As I said, the league's definitely going to be harder, but I've got so much faith now in Alex Neil, the way we're moving as a club, the players we've got there at the minute. We're going to strengthen, I would assume. And let's not forget, fellas, we had so many players out injured that would definitely have made a big impact towards the end of the season. So we're going to have players coming back from injury, from long-term injuries. So, for me, I think we're a better place going into this year. An initial prediction, I'm going to go with you, Angelo. I think we're going to finish fourth, mate. I think we'll be in the playoffs. I think we're going to be... I don't see many sides that are going to want to play us. I think we're going to go into a lot of games now with a lot of belief. So, I think, as I said a couple of times there, the league's definitely harder, but I'm very excited about going into next year.
Ben, can I ask you who's
clip that as well?
Who's
my dark horse is going to be... I'm just having a look now. My dark horse, can you call him a dark horse? I love Mark Robins. Again, if anyone knows, I loved him when he was at Coventry. I loved Coventry then, just the way they played. I love Mark Robins, as I said. Stoke are going to have money, aren't they? They always do. They're going to reinvest. I think he's such a good manager. I think they will improve next year. Are they classed as a dark horse? I don't know. Based on last year, maybe, but I'll go with Stoke.
You're going Stoke, yeah?
Ben, can I and Angelo, just for both of you, so you said we're finishing fourth. Who are the three teams that finish above us?
Go on, Angelo.
Okay, I'm going to go Sheffield United.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm going to go Ipswich.
Disagree.
And I'm going to go... Oh, that's a tough one. Shall I put my dark horse in there? I'm going to put my dark horse in there, Swansea.
Ooh.
So we're finishing, in your opinion, we're finishing above Leicester and Southampton?
Yes.
If we finish above them two, we deserve to go up. I'll say that now.
Right, don't forget, Stephen, Leicester, I'm going to probably start with a big point deduction, mate.
Okay, that would change that. That would change that if they did get points.
I've took that into consideration. Although I hate his football, I think he will get them up there if it is Russell Martin. I just hate his football. And the Southampton, who knows, mate? They're going to lose that really good player. Was it Tyler Digby, is it? They're going to lose him for sure. Yeah.
Ben?
I'm going to go Sheffield United, Southampton, and just because I said I've always been a fan of Coventry. Still a little bit out of jury's out for Frank Lampard, I think. Not sure, but I think I'm going to go with them three. We'll finish fourth.
Come on, Stephen, what about you, mate? What about you?
Oh, well, I've got us in 6th, so I've got some more wiggle room to play with. I would say Sheffield United, Southampton, not in this order, but Sheffield United, Southampton, Leicester, Swansea. I think they really will have a good year this year. And as much as I said, I've been humming and ahhing a little bit on the fence with them. I think Coventry, they might have this. They probably have one more crack at it. But if they don't, if they start poorly, then their season will completely will unravel. I think. I don't think they'll have the same impact with Lampard again. But this will be their last shot for me.
So your dark horses never made the playoffs then?
Well, no, because I've got us in 6th spot, pipping them on the last day.
Oh, yeah,
but I think they'll run it close. They'll run it close.
Christian Kramer nicks it.
It'll be a shootout. It'll be a shootout on the last day of the season at the Den. Millwall v Portsmouth, and Tristan Kramer scores the goal to nick the spot.
And just to let you know, I think the fixtures are out 26th of June, if I following correctly.
And also the Carabao Cup or EFL Cup or whatever they call it nowadays. It's the same day as well.
Yeah, so it's a month away, basically, isn't it? Well, from when we're recording.
That is going to come around quick. Final thoughts, fellas, before we wrap up?
Quick one, really, just on South London Press. Obviously, at time of recording, it's been announced that the South London Press is unfortunately no more. So I'm sure the guys that when this goes out, everyone would know that news anyway. It's not sort of groundbreaking, but just gutted, really. So it's just been the source of news. I tweeted earlier that what's going to happen to any news on a striker, Rich? That was just the tweet, wasn't it? That's what everyone said. Any news on a transfer, Rich? So Richard Corley is friend of the show. He's an excellent journalist. He's done a fantastic job covering Millwall, and hopefully he continues to do so because he's been excellent.
Yeah, echo that, mate. I think we can all agree. Unless Rich tweeted it, it wasn't true.
Absolutely, he was the gospel. He was the gospel.
He was. Angelo?
Yeah, it's like half Fabrizio Romano's going, isn't it? It's like I'm sure. Hopefully he appears in some other capacity and has something to do with Mill because it's quite surprised, mate. And when I first heard it, I didn't know if it was fake news, but yeah, it's a shame, mate. Yeah. Listen, hope the players are recovering well, and look forward to the fixtures coming out, and looking forward to next season. And it's going to be a tough one, but again, I think it's going to be exciting, and it is the best league in the world, mate. It's better than the Premier League last season. Was a bore fest, wasn't it? It was absolutely boring. So
yeah, that's one thing you can't say about the Championship, mate. Is it's ever boring because it's definitely not. And like we just said, we went through all those sides, and they can definitely all beat each other. It would seem.
Yeah,
we've got everyone finishing 1st and 24th.
Yeah.
So this is a great review.
It is exactly. Well, look, as we said at the top of the show, we're doing this very early on in the season. We don't know ins and outs. Some teams haven't even got managers yet. Let us know in the comments whether you think it's going to be harder for Millwall to improve on the league position next year, where you think we might finish today as we are at the minute. Let us know if you think the league's going to be harder, easier, the same. Just get your thoughts and comments down below. If you're new around here, don't forget to like and subscribe. We did amazing things for charity last year. The pod's plans are going to be even bigger, I think, for next year. So, if you're new around here, like and subscribe. Get your comments down below. And we look forward to a tougher season next year. Bye for now.
See you later, guys.
Hi, it's Steve Morrison here, and you're listening to Chat with Chaps, chatting Millwall, come rain or shine.